Yeah, I just wanted to put these on real quick just because we were already talking about eyeglasses. These are the wave optics that Nikhil was referencing, the snap spectacles. Yeah, it's going to be fun to see, once these things get better, but I've had fun playing around with these for the past couple of days. So I'm just going to share my screen now. Can you see that?
Looks great.
Okay. So yeah, I was just going to give a very short presentation today about kind of one of the experiences I had created around digital clothing, virtual apparel, whatever you want to call it. To give a little bit of background about my company, I've really been focused on kind of experimental AR, so just building experiences that kind of both democratize special effects for everyday consumers and also just kind of bring fun ideas to life that weren't previously possible since computer vision has grown considerably in the last decade. What things that weren't possible 1 year ago are now possible today. And a large part of my work involves machine learning and computer vision. I used to, earlier on the company, I would mostly spend a lot of time creating my own custom machine learning models to build these applications from scratch. But now I find it kind of quicker to prototype inside existing AR solutions like Lens Studio, which is Snapchat's kind of AR development kit, and kind of build these silly / dumb prototypes. So I've built everything from virtual lightsabers to talking dogs to pretty much everything you can imagine. I just try and bring new ideas to life, and a lot of it's done on mobile phones, so mostly focused on mobile devices. So today I was just going to talk about one of those experiences that I had built, which was kind of a interactive t-shirt that you could wear. And the technology behind that was clothing segmentation, in particular upper garment segmentation, which is essentially taking your shirt or whatever article of clothing you're wearing on top and finding the 2D boundary of it. So you can see on the screen here, just showing you kind of it's segmenting the shirts. I'm actually wearing a blue shirt underneath, but it's drawing different content on top of it. And one of the reasons this works so well is that it's using 2D machine learning, and it's rendering on the content that's already there versus trying to model and drape a 3-dimensional shirt on top of your body. So really, it looks like almost like a new 3D object has been placed on your body because it's incorporating the lighting and shadows and edges that are already there, but it also allows you to put new content on top of it. So it kind of, provides this cool and very accurate effect of showing something that they could be new versus what you're currently wearing. So the second part of the shirt lens I had built involved hand tracking. A lot of my lenses deal with tracking the hands in some ways. So like I mentioned, the lightsaber one, I also had a virtual hand puppet app that I had built called Yo Puppet that puts a kind of virtual puppet on your hand and you can make them talk and stuff. Your hands are very expressive, and I think they're probably one of the least utilized tools in our current AR. Part of that is just because they're hard to track. Your hands deform into over 1 billion different positions, and it's very hard to get an accurate idea of what the current pose of your hand is just based on a 2D camera image. But the plus side is that they're very good at building interaction within AR. Because your hands can do so many different things. They can grab, they can wave, they can make different gestures. It's really almost limitless. And a lot of the AR experiences we saw prior to, the 2020, let's say, involved mostly just interaction with your face or your environment. There wasn't a lot of ways you could manipulate it with your own body. So it's kind of exciting to see things like the 2D hand tracking that Snap had added last year. And then they also recently are adding 3D hand tracking to their array of tools for you to use. So I think those things will help open up a lot of new experiences as well. So I think that using your hands is a very good way to interact in AR. And I'll just play the video here. You can see my hand moving around. Also doing 2D segmentation here around the hand. So there's another aspect of something you can use and draw over as well. So in terms of the shirt segmentation that I use, there are some limitations. 2D segmentation means that you can't really turn your body. As you see, I turn around here, the 3D object isn't following it so well. There are some ways to get around that, such as also simultaneously tracking their pose in 3D and then kind of using that 2D segmentation to just crop out the 3D pose underneath. And I had done that with another lens as well. There's different ways to get around these limitations. A lot of it is just tricking your audience into thinking what they're seeing is fully 3D or whatever the intended effect you want is. So you really just have to work to the strengths of what you have and the tools that you have. And that's why I've always kind of enjoyed pushing the limits of what's possible in AR. What new things can you build? What types of experiences can we create now that we weren't able to create last year? And this shirt that I posted, I wasn't really thinking much of it, but here's kind of the full effect. It was just drawing some 3D cubes on the shirt and also letting it turn into a full shirt if your hand's not in the picture. I think the reason this resonated with people was because it looks realistic. Number one, a lot of people thought this was a real shirt, which is not. And they, you can see the wrinkles in the clothing and everything. So it just looks a step of realism above, most of the 3D wearable stuff you saw prior to this. Just looks a little bit janky. There's things that aren't fitting quite well. They're not draping well. The lighting's not right. It's all these things that take you out of that immersion level and kind of put you into the uncanny valley where you think, okay, this is definitely not something real that they're wearing. You can look at this, it looks almost real. And the shirt I'm wearing underneath here is blue, but you wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, you'd have a hard time telling just on first glance that it's not a black shirt that I'm wearing here. And, on top of that, seeing the kind of pattern move around it makes you think, well, how are they, doing that so well? How are the edges so refined? So that's one of the great things about these kinds of tools is they just open up new types of digital fashion. One of the interesting things about digital fashion is a really new idea is that the physical fashion there's a lot of stupid things happening in physical fashion. Like there's kids who will go out and buy clothes one time, they'll take a picture for Instagram or whatever they want to take a picture for, and then they'll return it or throw it out or even worse. And so, that's a lot of wasted time and energy and resources that doesn't necessarily need to happen if we can build a digital solution to make something much quicker and easier to get what they want. So I think that's, the essence of this short presentation. I just wanted to kind of demo this one lens. But if you want to see some of my other work, I post a lot of videos on Twitter. I recently just posted one with the spectacles that allows you to ride a horse in first person and joust. I have a lance that you can joust with. So like I said, my ideas are very dumb, but they're kind of fun at the same time. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and shoot right now.